30 years ago today, war was raging in the Falkland Islands, and as in most conflicts, there were civilian as well as military casualties. Tim Miller was one of them, a farmer living on West Falkland who lost an eye when the RAF mistook his farm from enemy position and bombed him. Charlotte Cross has been hearing his story.
In 1982, a fierce air battle raged over the Falkland Islands. Early on in the campaign, a British Vulcan bombed Stanley Airfield, and from the battle-damaged photographs, it seemed out of action. But the Argentines had used deception, fake craters, to make the runway look more damaged than it was. Meanwhile, British surveillance over West Falkland picked up Argentine transport planes, but they were low flying and the hilly terrain meant radar soon lost them. Intelligence analysts decided they must be landing on an airstrip in West Falkland. A farm belonging to Tim Miller was designated an enemy forward operating base and a legitimate target.
It was an intelligence muddle-up, as happens in wartime, and they sent 4 of the RAF Harriers in to bomb and disable the airstrip, which is right alongside the settlement buildings, the farm buildings there. And I'd rushed outside hearing the noise of incoming aircraft, because it was sort of, oh, you know, is this ours or theirs, sort of thing, because we'd seen quite a few the previous few days overhead. And I can still remember sort of looking at this, and a Harrier is at the best of terms head on as a fairly evil looking aircraft with its drooped wings, but when it's fully bombed up, I can assure you it's even more evil looking, and especially when all of a sudden those 3 bombs suddenly drop off the wings.
A 1,000-pound bomb landed less than 40 feet away from where Tim was standing, leaving him badly injured.
Shrapnel wounds to my right wrist, and a piece of shrapnel, well, a couple of bits sort of went into my head under the skin, and also 2 pieces went in through my left eye here, and they went sort of right down through the centre of that, and took it out, or blinded it anyway. But even so, I was, extremely lucky. I mean, that there was one little small wooden shed, very solidly built wooden shed, directly in line between myself and the point of impact, and luckily we think that absorbed the blast and deflected the worst of it, otherwise I'd have been history. Yes.
He managed to call the doctor in Stanley over the radio and patched up the wounds. Remaining alert to the British war effort, he spoke in code.
I remember we were fairly cagey in the way we described it, because we knew it was Harriers, because also from the bits of the bombs that were left lying around, but we didn't want the Argentines to know that, because we didn't want to sort of land them with a propaganda coup or anything.
It wasn't until 3 weeks after he was injured that a Special Forces helicopter was finally able to pick him up and take him to the field hospital at Ajax Bay. Despite losing an eye to friendly fire, Tim Miller attends the annual memorial services and doesn't blame the RAF for their mistake, saying simply, these things happen in war. Charlotte Cross, Forces News in the Falkland Islands.